Hi, my name is Akshay, and this video is in continuation of the series on vendor management, where we are discussing about vendor-based risks and strategies where proper handling can lead to a successful vendor management, and that ultimately leads to a success stories of a construction project. Since we generally hear that vendor is not performing at site, so I started this brief study to understand the root cause behind this. So this vendor management comes under the knowledge area of project risk management. There is a disclaimer as well about the upcoming parameters we are going to discuss. As I'll be coming up with more videos on properties, please subscribe to my channel Property Shiksha and remain updated on the latest trends and the information. I did a root cause analysis to understand the parameters that influence construction vendor performance. So this presentation is in continuation to the last presentation where we discussed about project owner centric parameters that leads to poor performance of vendors. All these risks needs to be planned in the risk management plan during planning stage. So let's see what are these points. So under project risk management, my next point towards project owner centric parameters leading to a poor performance of vendor but attributable to project owner is project briefing, which is poor because of lack of effective communication. It is to be noted that this is a high risk point. So the plausible risk strategy to handle this kind of a risk can be to avoid the risk through effective communication. Here, it is important to ensure that there should not be any gaps in between what is conveyed to vendors and what they understand on project owners' expectations and priority. Also, all relevant verbal or written communication should be documented and preferably should be made as a part of the contract. If required, you should ask for a dedicated communication resource to avoid any gaps during execution, and this can be made as a precondition for smooth coordination. Also, it is always better to conduct pre-bid meetings with all the vendors, maybe separately or jointly, while explaining the scope, expectations, drawings, responses to all the queries, etc. So this point can be concluded while having effective communication with meetings, MOMs, detailed RFP, response to queries. And this is the only way to avoid any gaps related to important briefs, commitments, and understanding of project scope. So under project risk management, my next point towards project owner-centric parameters leading to poor performance of vendor but attributable to project owner is project briefing but related to detailed specifications missing in tender. The plausible risk strategy to handle this kind of a risk can be is to avoid risk through providing detailed specifications during pre-bid stage. So we need to understand here that detailed specifications and work methodology is important to execute the work as per expectations and achieve the desired job quality. Also, any missing step in the work methodology means missing cost consideration towards that step. So any such gap means the lower price during bid proposal stage, which will ultimately lead to variations later during construction stage to achieve the desired quality. So here we can conclude this point while providing the detailed specifications that will help avoiding the post-bid cost variations or any claims. So under project risk management, my next point towards project owner-centric parameters leading to a poor performance of vendor but attributable to project owner is again project briefing but related to poor response of pre-bid queries. So here the plausible risk strategy to handle this kind of risk can be is to avoid risk through providing detailed response to bidders' project queries during pre-bid stage. So here it is pertinent to note that the higher risk factor on project leads to higher cost. In such cases, contractor generally jacks up the cost to cover the risk. Also, it is better to keep such risk factors in the project minimum while providing maximum clarity or clear responses to contractors' queries. So here we can conclude this point while providing detailed response to bidder queries during pre-bid stage. And that will certainly help towards competitive bidding while reducing risks and associated cost. Also, in case if you find the quoted price are still on a higher side than expected, then the contractor should be consulted on the basis of the estimates for further review. And if required, the factors need to be addressed to bring the cost in range. So this is the end of this presentation. In this presentation, I covered 3 points related to project owner centric parameters that may lead to poor performance of vendor at site if not addressed properly. All these 3 points are related to project briefing, and in project briefing it was related to lack of effective communication. Second one was detailed specifications missing in tender, and third one was poor responses of pre-bid queries. So generally the project briefing is very important for the project. The clarity in briefing, detailed specifications, and effective responses to queries can certainly minimize the variations and change orders towards the given scope, which is very, very important to control the cost during execution. So far I have covered 7 points in total towards project owner centric parameters. So I will be covering more points, in coming presentations. So thanks for watching this video. Just keep on watching, keep understanding, and keep learning. Thank you.